Yo,
Yo, yo, yo. What's up, Mason?
how's it going? Uh, Not much. How's it going, Adam?
It's going good. It's going good. It's a cold Wednesday. Only 2 days left in November, and then we are on to December, which is absolutely bonkers. Mason, you're
Yeah.
looking cozy as hell in your fur-lined sweatshirt that you got underneath the Hawaiian shirt.
Yes,
That
it
shit
is
looks
a
cozy.
it is the best. Honestly, it's not even a sweatshirt. It is a what you call I think a snuggie or the blankets that go all like
With
you wear as a
sleeves.
hood and it's got the sleeves and
Does
it
it go
goes
all the
all the
way
way down.
down? Like to
Yeah,
your feet?
look, we just gotta show it off, right? Boom! Look, that goes all the way down
Oh
here.
shit.
It is the best.
Damn.
It's so comfortable.
I
Like,
didn't I didn't take you for a snuggie guy, but here
I
we
didn't take
are.
myself for a snuggie. I got it as a gift for the wifey, and it's just like the best. And look, it's got a front pocket. We're chilling
Did you buy it for her and now you've just taken it? Or did
pretty
she get it
much.
for you?
No, I got it for her, and then now I wear it more than she does.
That's so sick.
Right?
That is so sick.
It's just
And
so comfortable too. It's
I
got the
feel like
hood.
not to get too off topic, but I feel like I've been seeing like or maybe Olivia's God, that just looks so cozy.
Oh,
Olivia's been sending me
this looks
these like
great.
TikToks where it's like, oh, I buy my husband a gift, so then it's a gift for both of us, or oh, like, your money is my money and my money is my money. It's kind of like, but you flip that on Alex, and you're like, I got you the snuggie, and then she's like, I don't want that. You're like, okay, good, because I wanted it. I just didn't want to buy myself a snuggie. And there's no shame in that, right? Like
No
I'm
shame, no
jealous. If I
shame.
had one, I'd
You'd be
probably be
wearing it.
sweating my ass off, but I would be wearing it and I'd have that hood on and I'd just be like chilling.
It's so comfortable. You can go right outside. You don't have to get out of the blanket. Make sure the dogs are okay. Yell at them to come inside, and you're staying warm the whole time.
All right, well,
Uh,
let's get to our actual ad read. The Assemblage Beverage podcast is not sponsored by Snuggie,
but
but
we should be.
if Snuggie wants to sponsor it, you know where to find us www.assemblagebevco.com. But now on to our actual ad read, which is Shoes Pizzeria. And today, let's take a minute and shout out Shoes Pizzeria's wings. They are fresh, never frozen wings. And you know what's crazy, Mason?
What?
They still offer 50-cent wings all day, every Tuesday.
What?
That's insane.
50 fucking cents. That's
50 cents.
fucking awesome.
In this economy, absolutely bonkers that they're still
I
able to
don't know
do
where else
that.
to go. Look at that. There's
I
nowhere
don't.
else.
I mean, I went out for wings the other day and I got 10 wings. It was $14 for 10 wings.
Damn.
Those same wings, not on Tuesday at Shoes, which I think the Shoes wings are actually bigger and meatier than the wings I had. 10 wings will cost you a slight $10.69 at Shoes on a day that doesn't end in Tuesday. They've got a great wide variety of sauces ranging from TNT, which is my personal favorite, extra spicy. They got hot, medium, mild, sweet barbecue, teriyaki, hot garlic, Romano garlic, and honey garlic. And all their wings come with celery and blue cheese or ranch. And Mason, you've had their ranch before, right?
Oh,
Or are you
yeah.
a blue cheese guy?
I like them both. It depends on what kind of, dip I'm looking for on that specific bite of wing.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm more of a ranch guy on my wings. But I will say that I don't typically dip my regular wings in ranch.
Mm.
I only dip boneless wings in the sauces. The regular wings, I eat the wings as is, and then
Straight
I
up.
dip the celery. And the wing joint I go to
Afterwards.
gives you carrots too, which is ideal.
That is
Um,
nice.
yeah. So if you're in Northwest Indiana and you have not visited them yet, go check them out. They've got the best deals on pizza, wings, subs on the eastern side of the Mississippi. Their address is 3300 North Calumet Avenue, Valparaiso, Indiana. And their phone number, 219-476-SHOE. That's 219-476-7463. And now on to the regularly scheduled program. Episode
Oh, yeah.
53. Whoop whoop. 53, baby. We are talking about Ballin on a holiday budget, Mason. We are talking
What?
about adult beverages that you can enjoy yourself, or you can give a gift to someone without breaking the bank. We're talking about most of the stuff we're talking about today is under $25 a bottle, which I think is reasonable if you're giving someone a gift. Obviously, you have to like the person to give them a gift,
Very
meaning a
true.
loved one. Maybe you want to suck up to your boss, or maybe you want to give a gift to an annoying coworker that you're really just wanting to be invited to their to go on their boat at their lake house this summer. So you get them a Christmas gift. So then maybe in July, when it's hotter than hell outside, they'll invite you to their lake, but you really don't like them. You just want their boat, like access to their boat. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat.
Uh,
I don't have a coworker like that, but
Talking
um,
from experience, huh?
yeah, not
You don't
me.
have a
Yeah, no,
coworker.
I've got a friend who's got a coworker that's annoying, but they've got a boat, so it's a whole situation. Um, and before we, I've got a friend. I've got we've Mason, we've both got some friends that are always up to some mischievous shit, and they're
Oh yeah.
always up to something, but it's not us; it's our friend.
No way. What are we talking about?
One day we're actually gonna have a friend who's like up to this stuff, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god,
What
like
the
what the hell
gosh?
are they doing?" Like, no,
Why
it's
are they
actually
ratting
our
me out
friend.
on everything?
Yeah, they're like, no, this is actually our friend, and no one believes us.
uh,
But before we get into the bargain brands, Mason, what are you sipping on tonight?
yeah, I'm sipping on my favorite inexpensive realistic beer, Modelo, my
Mm-hmm.
Mexican style. I did not get a lime this time around. I should have, but I felt a little rushed. Didn't feel like cutting out the lime, so I didn't this time. But
Yeah,
anyways, what are you sipping
nice.
on? Ooh, ooh,
I'm sipping on that Pabst Blue Ribbon, baby.
ooh.
Um, Probably
Some
the most
PBR.
expensive PBR I've ever bought. I bought it at Whole Foods. So you got fucking Karen over there with her organic carrots and shit,
Hmm.
and I'm rocking through the store with a case of PBR. Absolute fiend. But 10.99 for a 12 pack. It's probably overpriced, but you know, I got that. I got that Whole Foods PBR money now, Mason.
Yeah. So you living big.
I'm living
I, you know,
huge.
it's just something delicious to sip on for that
Yeah,
inexpensive price. It's
super
just
inexpensive.
water. It's
It
just
is. It's
delicious, crisp, clean.
it's basically alcoholic water at this point, but
Yeah.
that's right. We're talking about bargain brands, so you might as well drink some bargain beers.
Right.
Um, Before we jump into some of these bargain wines and spirits, like I said, most of them will be $25 and under. The spirits, some of them are slightly higher, but if you think about the longevity of a bottle of spirit that we've kind of talked about in the past, right? A bottle of wine is gone within a night or 2 nights if you only drink half, which is
I don't know
crazy.
who does that.
But a bottle of spirits, or a bottle of bourbon or vodka or scotch or whatever it may be, I mean, that's going to last you,
A while.
yeah, at
Depends
least a
on how,
week.
how much you're drinking.
Um,
4 days if you're drinking a lot.
no, but it should have lasted a long time. So we gave ourselves a
Ugh.
little bit more money to buy a bargain spirit because of the longevity. Um, and by no means do any of these brands sponsor us. None of them do actually.
But
But
we wish.
just like Snuggie, if you are interested said wine and spirits brands, you can email us or you can go to our website and fill out a little contact us for them at www.assemblagebevco.com. Mason,
What's
what
up?
are we talking about tonight as far as bargain brands that you enjoy or you would give as a gift or you would be okay with getting as a gift? Because I feel like we both probably get a lot of I feel like a lot of people are always giving me I don't get a lot of gifts, but if people do get me a gift, they're giving me alcohol, which
Yeah.
I don't know how I should take that. But what are some bargain bottles that you wouldn't mind getting or you're going to be giving this holiday season?
Yeah. Well, for me, almost everybody I know loves to give me a spirit. That is my number one gift to me slash um, gift from me to others. That's kind of where
Mm-hmm.
I lean, as y'all know from the podcast. It's just my category of desires, and you know, I almost always want more of the line of a bottle of bourbon or tequila. That's
Mm-hmm.
the top two for me. Like those are what I'm excited about. Um, you know, the deals that are going on that, I think from our previous podcast when we did the tequila tasting, Terramana, which was an inexpensive purchase. I think it was $30 a bottle or something like that, plus
Right
or
around there.
minus.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, like let's throw this out here so everybody knows, depending on where you're at, what state you're in, where it's coming from, how long it took to get there, what size of the bottle you're getting, this will
Mm-hmm.
all affect the price because you get the little airplane bottle for like $5,
Can you
you get almost
imagine?
anything.
Can you imagine giving your boss like one airplane bottle of like Johnny Black?
Oh yeah,
Like, oh, I heard you
just
like Scotch, but you don't pay me enough to give me get a whole bottle, so you get the airplane bottle of Johnny
here's
Black.
the little baby,
It looks just like my
honestly.
paycheck.
Honestly, that might be the gift to give. One airplane bottle, and then behind it, behind your back, you get the real bottle. That would be funny. Wrap it up
That's
big, nice and tall. Anyways, uh, but I think standard 750, 375. Whatever you're kind of looking at is the way to go.
mm-hmm.
So Terramana, Herradura, I think those are really great, inexpensive brands for tequila that are in that. I'd say we're ranging from let's call it 35 and under for this
Mm-hmm.
specifically, even though we're
Yep.
shooting for 25 and under for the wine. But it was really hard to find something that was like worth buying that you'd be excited about drinking, right? And
Yeah.
not like the just rubbing alcohol kind of style spirit that just like burn the hair off you.
Yeah, and Mason and I were talking before we started recording that, when it comes to finding prices for wine online, like it's pretty true. Like there's good websites to like find wine. Yeah, you might pay a couple more dollars a bottle than you would pay in like your local liquor store. But looking at prices of spirits online, it is so like it's almost sketchy. Like it's almost like you're buying some stuff off the black market because like you'll find things and like on one website, a bottle of Tito's, let's just say a 750 of Tito's will be 9.99, and that on the next website it'll be $35. And you're like, okay, I don't think it's either of those prices. Like, what's a scam? Who's gouging me? Who is this selling the wine or the spirit? So some of our pricing is going to be again, it depends on who you're buying it from. It depends on where you live. But the website is good for wine prices, but I've found it just goes to show. I guess I don't really buy spirits online. I always just go to the liquor store to buy spirits. But I
Yeah,
buy a lot of wine online. So
but
um,
I think that also adds to it because the location of the purchaser that is selling you that spirit online, they may have access to a lot more money and can purchase,
yeah,
you know, uh, let's call it 10,000 cases of Tito's vodka, and that brings the price down to $9.99 a bottle, where the other one that you were looking at might only be able to buy 50 cases of that Tito's
That's
vodka. And
true.
now they have to sell it for $35.99
That's
or
true.
whatever it is, you know? So
Yeah.
it also depends on all these other things. But then again, concern maybe quality. So check your URL. Make sure you know where you're buying.
Yep.
It's very smart.
Or just go to a
Um,
liquor store because you know
they're
at
all over
least
the
you know
place.
you're getting the bottle you're paying for, and you're not just like in the description it's like this is actually just a poster with a bottle of Johnny Blue on it,
Or, or
or
a
it's an
little
airplane bottle. Yeah.
airplane bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, if I'm going to go for bourbon, Buffalo Trace is my favorite, easiest, great mixer kind of action. It
Hmm.
makes sure everybody is super happy. Um, Anybody you talk to loves to use it as a mixer. It's great to sit by itself. Um, and it's just overall just a quality style bourbon.
Hmm.
Jack Daniels, they've been around forever. Everybody knows it. It is Tennessee whiskey. It is what is Tennessee whiskey. And my favorite, which is a little more pricey, but I think is also worth it, is the Gentleman Jack, which is their like step up.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, that's probably like closer to like what, $60 a bottle.
I think it was more like $10 more a bottle. So
Oh,
whatever you purchase it's if Jack Daniels is 25 or $30 in your store, it's probably 35 or 40. So
that's not
it's
too bad.
not really too bad, and it's just like if we, I feel like with that Gentleman Jack, instead of it being like heads and tails that cut them off, and they decided to just pull the heart. Well, they took the center heart, and that's all they do for their Gentleman Jack. But
Hmm.
truthfully, I didn't do any research on that, and I should now because I do enjoy some Gentleman Jack.
God, I haven't had Jack Daniels in a minute. It's
Wow.
not bad. Like, for what it is,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge whiskey guy, but now that I'm like starting to drink a little bit more whiskey, it's like I'm in the like $40 to $50 range a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just and not for any particular reason, because really, like when I go and shop for whiskey, like I shop by label, right? Like I see things I recognize, High West, you know, what's the other one that I was drinking? Basil Hayden, like those brands. Like I know that maybe there's brands that are better that are cheaper than that, but it's like I like the flavor profile and I know what I'm buying. And if I'm gonna spend 45, $50, like I don't really want to take a big chance on like maybe I'm not gonna like this.
Yeah, that's a great point too with your brand recognition. Like per person to the thing is a big thing. Like what am I going to drink? If I know the name, I've seen it before, I'll
Mhm.
be happy to get it, receive it, drink it, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
You got to be careful with that though. As you know, Mason, like right, brand recognition, the reason you recognize brands typically is not because of the quality of the spirit or the quality of the wine. It's because they have advertising bucks that they, do
It's a very great point
commercials
too.
or billboards or ads on TikTok, whatever it may be. So, I know I just said, "Oh, I recognize this brand, that's why I buy it." Yes, but in some regard, like I'm not really fooled by like advertisements, or that's not really like why I recognize the spirits. It's just like I've spent a lot of time at bars, I've spent a lot of time bartending. I know what I like, and it just happens to be like more well-known spirit brands, right? Like I'm sure there's great small batch producers in Bourbon County that are producing bourbons that are way cheaper, but it's like if I'm spending $50, like I want to know I'm gonna like what I'm buying. So,
Yeah. So other brands to go for, um, Evan Williams, which is on the cheaper end. Rittenhouse Straight Rye, if you want
mm-hmm,
that little bit more of a like a little more fire in your bourbon, in your whiskey.
mm-hmm,
if you want to switch over to gin, Tanqueray, New Amsterdam, vodka, Tito's, Smirnoff, all very well priced, very
Mm-hmm.
inexpensive. Rums is Bucardi, Eldorado, 12-year. I'm sure Adam has a few back pocket ones that he could pull out of anywhere whenever he goes out. You go Amaros, which I feel like Amaros is a hard one because you know they vary so much
Mm-hmm.
in price and quality because like what do you want to drink from an Amaro is based so much on like the desire of do you want more of that fruit notes, do you want more of that alpine notes, do you want more bitter, do you want more sweet, there's just all these different things that like could happen. And so when you buy the less expensive ones, that it makes it hard. But you know, Maletti is a great one that general population resonates with because it just kind of hits all those notes at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that our quality one? Maybe not, but still, again, we're talking balling on a budget here.
Yep.
You know, you
Yeah, and I feel
go,
like Amaros too are something that I would buy for someone like you or someone that I know likes Amaros.
yeah,
It's kind of the same thing with like I feel like the easy route is to get someone a bottle of bourbon or whiskey or a bottle of wine. Like to me, those are like slam dunk. If you don't really know the person or know what they drink, those are super safe bets, right?
yeah,
Um, I feel like vodka, gin, tequila. I feel like is more mainstream, so I feel like tequila would kind of fit in with that wine bourbon camp. But all
yeah,
these other, rum, amaros, gin, vodka, that to me is a little bit more personal. So that would be more of like, hey, I know, Steve-O likes Tito's. I'm gonna get him a bottle of that, right? Because it's like I know that's what he drinks. Why would
and
I get him something else?
yeah,
Whereas if you're just like, I've never met you before, here's a bottle of Tito's, like that to me is like a very random like thing to show up to someone's house with, right? Whereas if you just go, oh, I got you this bottle, unless you have a personal story about Tito's, like, hey, I blacked out in college and I, fell in love with my wife, drinking Tito's. I feel like if I'm going to give a gift, like I want to have a story behind why I'm giving them that in case they go, well, I've never had this before. Is it good? And you just go, I don't know. I spent $27 at Total Wine because I had to show up here with a gift. It's like if you're going to get them something like a Maro or a rum or one of those kind of more off the beaten path things, have something to like, you know, or if you're gonna buy them some really small producer bourbon that's $27, be like, yeah, it tastes just like Bullet or it tastes just like Pappy, but it's $27 and blah blah blah, whatever the story is. Um,
definitely. Speaking of, you know, having to know one other brandy style, Christian Brothers VS. Oh man, was that a story and a half? First time buying liquor. What a great time. Never had brandy. Thought it was something good. Poured myself a drink. Got that fruity notes. Sipped on it. And then kept on sipping on it. And then all of a sudden it was half a bottle gone. And Mason was having the greatest time.
and you were 21, right, Mason?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Don't
definitely
even.
weren't underage.
Definitely not. I don't know what you're talking about.
And how
Oh,
much was
man.
that Christian Brothers VS
At
brandy?
the time, it was like, I don't know, 12, 15
Nine
years
nine
ago.
ninety nine.
It was probably $10, It was a great time.
And it isn't it like to me, it's so insane to think about like college and what you relate to as expensive in terms of like spirits go. Like I feel like, a bottle of vodka in college. again once we were over 21. You know, like I thought Smirnoff was like fancy. Like I always thought that that was like a nice vodka brand because like I feel like before, you know, my friends who were 21 and I wasn't 21, they told me that like, you know, or they were drinking things that like came in plastic bottles that were, you know, $6 for a handle. I was like, okay, that's
Right.
just like what vodka is. And I'm like, oh, Smirnoff, like it's glass bottle, like that's fancy. And then like when it comes to the grand scheme of things, it's like, yeah, it's not the cheapest, but it's definitely not very good.
And
Um,
it's not very expensive when it
and
comes
it's
to
not it's like what 15-18 bucks, something like that. Like it's not
yeah.
expensive at all. Especially when you're like buying something, you know, like vodka. I'm a firm believer that you don't really need to spend a whole lot of money on vodka because there's not many people who just drink vodka neat. um,
Fair point.
I
I,
mean, and to
I
a
guess
certain point,
martini.
yeah, and to a certain point though, like, you know, how many times can you distill it? Vodka in its definition is a flavorless, odorless spirit. So like how much are you willing to spend on getting drunk on like a rubbing alcohol flavored spirit? I mean, because that's
Yeah.
what vodka is. I mean, I don't care what vodka it is. Like they all kind of smell like rubbing alcohol. I
You're not
mean,
wrong because it's just got
it's got
that
nothing else.
acetone kind of
Yeah,
notes. You
yeah. It's
know,
not like it's got a juniper note like gin.
it's got no flavors.
It's
It's just
it doesn't have like a
odorless and
woody.
flavorless.
Yeah, it just is like acetone. Like, oh wow,
Yeah.
this 15,000 distilled times distilled acetone is, oh, it's so smooth. Okay, you know.
Ugh. I think the only thing that affects vodka is the undernotes of what did you start with?
Yeah,
Potato, grain. That's it. Those are the
yeah,
only things that truly add flavor, I feel like.
yeah. And I mean, I think you know, as far as like some of my, you know, inexpensive brands that I really like spirits wise. Like I love Broker's gin. I'm not a gin guy, but like Broker's for the price, $20 a bottle. Um, it's not bad in like a gin and tonic or like a Negroni. Probably a Negroni would be the thing that I would put it in because it's not overly expensive. And you think about like Campari and the vermouth really overpower the gin anyway.
Yeah.
And plus, I like the little top hat that comes on the top of the Broker's bottles. I think they're just so like funny. They're like little like old
Uh,
school London like banker like hats.
like,
Um,
hello, how are you today?
Good day.
Good morning to you. Top of the morning.
Yeah, and I think you know rum wise, like
Oh, God.
plantation, like some of the plantation, you know, like the 5 Star, which is their white rum, their original dark, you know, all that stuff's right around $30 a bottle. I'm a big Fernet guy. That's around $30 a bottle, $35 a bottle. But again, like those Amaros, those rums, you really like. I would never show up to someone's house that like, hey boss, I brought you a bottle of Fernet Branca. Like, you know, they'd be like, what kind of fucking lunatic are you? Like, you know, oh, you mind if we crack that bottle open that I just gifted you? You know,
What?
like,
Crack what?
yeah. And, you know, I think it's just a little bit more of a specialized thing, right? Like, I would give you a bottle of Fernet, you know, because I know, like,
I'll enjoy it.
yeah, it's like you've just got to know your audience and who you're giving it to.
Yeah.
Um, I think beer is kind of another one of those things where, unless you're going to visit someone from out of state, like maybe you can get them a beer from like your favorite local producer. Like here, I would just shop local, be like, hey, you know, this brewery is 10 minutes from my house, and I love getting shit faced there after work before I, you know, Uber home after, you know, a long day, whatever it is. Not that I've ever done that, just I've got some friends that do that. Um, but you know, or another fun thing is like a
Uh,
larger format, like a 750 milliliter beer. Like typically those come from Belgium or you know Germany and things like that, and they come with like almost like a mushroom cap, like a champagne cork sometimes.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
those are
the
cool gifts too.
Yeah, I think those growlers too are starting to
Hmm.
are really becoming big deals as well, and people are enjoying bringing those around.
Yeah.
So that's another great gift to do for a specific beer. But again, I think your best format, get it, anyways, is your local producer. Even if you're
Hmm.
going out of state, grabbing that to bring to them something special, right? It's my hometown,
Hmm.
my favorite craft brewer here at my place, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, it's kind of like here in Georgia, right? Like if you bring someone Sweetwater 420, or if you bring someone, uh, excuse me, something from Creature Comforts like Tropicalia, they're going to be like, hell yeah, like this is what we all drink. So it's like that's a pretty slam dunk. And I think like just bring something from your local brewery.
Yeah,
Here in Atlanta, we have a lot of like well known breweries, which you know I'm a high life drinker, so they don't brew
I
that
get it.
down here.
The biggest one here, I think, that maybe everybody knows, honestly, because it's so large, is Wicked Weed, and it's a very popular brand. No, maybe not everybody, but
Yeah,
a good
I don't know that
portion.
I've ever had any beer from them, but I know you've talked about Wicked Weed before, and I've heard of them in the past. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the best way to go about the beer route.
Yeah.
Wine, I think, is probably like the easiest thing to give someone because again, it's just very, not saying it's not personal, but I feel like you can get a reasonably priced, decent bottle for under $25 as long as you know what you're looking for. Because there's a lot of crap that's under $25 that's out there. So really, like my biggest piece of advice is obviously listen to what we're about to say about inexpensive wine. But just kind of do your research, ask your local, the person who's working in the wine shop, um, maybe ask them what they're enjoying, or, hey, what's a really great wine? Here's my budget. And typically they'll work with you. Um, but I think bubbles are a really great way, especially in the holidays, to kind of like, hey, thanks for having us. I
Celebratory.
got you this bottle. Yeah, exactly. It's celebratory. Hey, I got you this bottle. Um, as far as bubbles go, I didn't select any champagnes, because champagne only 25, like for under $25, I'm not saying you can't find it, but I would say you'd be
It's
better
not worth
off. It's not worth the money. I would rather shop in a different part of the world, that you can get a little bit more bang for your buck. I think some kavas offer really great value. Um, Kune is great. Um, Prosecco, again, there's a lot of crappy Prosecco, but there's also a lot of good Prosecco. So, really great brand that I love is Ruggieri, right around $22 a bottle. Going back to Spain, not technically Cava, because they like what's the word I'm looking for? They were in Cava, but then they like basically took themselves out of that DO. Is Reventos. Their Blanc de Blanc is $22 a bottle, which is fantastic. To me, it rivals some really like high quality champagnes.
Yeah.
And then another really fun one, is Cletto Charlie Lambrusco, um, right around $18 a bottle. The only thing with that is it's a tricky bottle to open because instead of a normal uh, crown cap, or I'm sorry, instead of a normal cage, it's got like this metal bar that basically holds the cork down, and you have to like use the back of your wine key to like crowbar it off. And but the
You can.
wine is fantastic. It's like a really like dark pink color, lots of notes of cranberry, fresh strawberries. It's not sweet, but it's like got this really great floral and freshness to it. So those are
Dang.
kind of like my sparkling wine suggestions for the holidays. Mason, do you have any like sparkling wines or just a different style of wine that you're really like into gifting?
Yeah, so if I'm looking for that inexpensive, right next door to Champagne is the Loire Valley, and you can
Mm-hmm.
get some Cremant de Loire, and
Yep.
generally you can find some really really nice things that are inexpensive, delicious, um, super super nice, and that's kind of where I would hang out if I'm gonna get something sparkling. Um, there's been a few different California sparklings that have been coming out lately. None really off the top of my head that are coming to mind that I was just like super duper excited about, but definitely a few different producers that come into a good price range in
Mm-hmm.
the Sonoma Coast, and I bet there's one or two in the Napa Valley, but for the most part, I feel like the Sonoma Coast.
Yeah, and I feel like, any of those that, like I'd rather get a Cremant de Loire or any of the ones that I mentioned over like a bottle that's more expensive in a Veuve Clicquot that's, around 60-ish dollars a bottle.
Yeah,
Because to me, something like a cava or something like a really high quality Spanish sparkling wine or a really high quality Italian sparkling wine to me is like, okay, you actually put some thought into it instead of just going to your local grocery store and, oh, top shelf Veuve Clicquot, I know the yellow label. I mean, I'll still be grateful, right? But it's like, okay, that's kind of almost too easy, right? And it's like I would have rather gotten two bottles of Lambrusco for the same, actually almost three bottles of Lambrusco for the price that you spent on your one bottle of Veuve Clicquot. So I'm weird about that though. Like I like when people get me something that's like, oh wow, this is really interesting. Like I don't even care how much it costs. It's just like you brought something that I wasn't expecting you to bring. Um,
yeah.
as far as whites go, um, kind of some of my, again, if you go Italian, if you go Spanish, if you go old world Germany, there's some really great value, high quality wines out there. You're really not going to find a whole lot of value in California, especially in Napa Valley. And there's a lot of crappy wines being made there. I mean, there's a lot of crappy wines being made everywhere, but it's harder for me to find wines from California, both in the white and red category, that are high quality without being super, super expensive. And buying things that are like under $25, especially that has Napa Valley on it, it's not going to be very good. Um, as far as Chardonnay goes, you can definitely, like, one of the ones on my list is Penfolds Max's Chardonnay. It's like
Mm,
$13 a bottle from Australia. Really, really high quality Chardonnay if you're a Chardonnay drinker. Purapan Suave Classico coming from northern Italy. Really, really high quality, like 22 bucks. Albarino, you can't go wrong with.
love me
Um,
some Albarino.
Yep, or Alvarinho, which is from Portugal. So you can go, either one of those routes, and they're super fresh, super like saline forward, floral, really, really delicious white wines. And again, very reasonably priced. And that's kind of what it's all about. As far as rosé goes, to me, Southern Italy is like where my heart lies with rosé. Um, I don't know about you, Mason, but I'm more of like a full-bodied, more robust rosé
Mm,
instead of being like a more Provençal style, like lighter body. Where are you at with your rosé?
I don't know. I think it really depends on the day and time because we have this Vino Verde uh, rosé on that is super light and it drinks more of like a medium body, but is definitely crushable. So like, I'm like, I'm in the middle of the road. I'm happy with both. You pour me a glass, I'll probably drink it no matter
Mm-hmm.
what.
Yeah, yeah, and I will too. I think typically like I like rosés that aren't watery. And I've found with a lot of, especially not super expensive French rosés is they tend to be a little bit more watery. So
Well,
I like going with Southern Italy Tormaresca Calafuria Rosé. It's like $18. Also, shout out Tormaresca. I did an internship there in college. Super great wines. Leon de Castries Five Roses Rosé. It's like $25, and that is also super super high quality. I think it's 95% Negro Amaro, um, which that rosé is fantastic. Also, Argyle in Oregon is making a really high quality Pinot Noir rosé, which is right around $22. And I actually had the Belglas rosé earlier this year. It's actually
mm-hmm.
pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, and it's pretty reasonable. I think it's like maybe $30 a bottle, and it's very good. I'm not a
For
huge fan of Belgalos, just because I think that the way they make Pinot like they're making Cabernet Sauvignon, which to me is like not how you're supposed to make Pinot at all. Um, Not that if someone gave me a bottle of Belgalos, like I would definitely drink it. It's just not my style of Pinot, because I
yeah,
like it to be a little bit more old world style, a little bit more earthy, not as much skin contact in the extraction. So, Mason, what are some reds that you're into, or rosés?
yeah. Well, first before I move on to that, I was gonna take the note uh, that some of these wines that we are speaking of might be best found online
Mm-hmm.
to pull them in. To be honest, because I don't, depending on where you're at, the limitations of your state, whatever it may be, who produces it, who sends it in, may or may not be have access to these wines.
Yeah,
So
and
that,
mo-
all
and
right,
most of these prices I mean, I'll say it, they're off of wine.com. I think that like yeah, you're gonna pay a couple dollars more a bottle, but as far as like the amount of stuff that they sell, and I pay like $50 a year for free shipping, which is nice
yeah,
because that's like shipping can be 20-30 bucks an order. Um, so it's like I buy a decent amount of stuff on there. Also, like sometimes I'm lazy and I just don't want to go to the store, so it's easier for me to just order stuff and it ships to my house in 3 days. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where these prices are coming from. But Mason, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. No, you're good. Yeah. So if I'm gonna drink, I might drink more of the Beaujolais style, whereas like that inexpensive, still feel like I'm drinking quality, coming from a really cool region kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't branch out too far in the reds because I always tend to find that personally, I just never find a bottle that's personally worth it to me. I know my wife can definitely pick out a bottle for the two of us that is probably inexpensive, but then she also has a really good discount, so that also adds a factor
That
to
helps.
it does. We can buy nicer bottles for cheaper, and it's still $20, but really it should have been $45 or whatever it is.
Right.
So I feel like my perception is kind of skewed a little bit as well. So I have to keep that into account. But
Yeah.
what are you drinking?
Reds
What are you
wise,
recommending?
yeah. I mean, again, I'm going old world because I just feel like new world wines are really tough to find value in. One new world wine that's like around probably like the 25-ish dollars a bottle is OPP, which is Other People's Pinot, by Mason Noir. Really great wine. Uh, Andre Houston Mack is the som behind it, who he's now like kind of famous on YouTube on Bon Appetit. But he used to be the som at excuse me, I think it was like Le Bernardin or maybe it was French Laundry. I don't remember. Maybe both. And now he's like a YouTube personality and he makes wine. Really good wine, very much in the old world classic Oregon style. So it's a little bit more light, a little bit earthier. I also love old world, like I said. Multiple Ciano di Abruzzo has some great value. Some Aglianico from Campania has some great value. Cannonau, which comes from Sardinia, typically is like known in the health world as like it's a superfood, Cannonau, because it has like the most antioxidants, and Sardinia is like a blue zone for people who live the longest. So people are like, well, if you drink Cannonau, which is Grenache, um,
Live forever.
you're gonna live forever. So that's our healthy pick of the day. If you
You know
drink
what they say
Cannonau,
about wine? A glass of wine a day preserves you for life.
yeah. What happens if it's like a bottle of wine a day? What is that?
Then, then you'll survive forever,
You're
or
immortal.
die,
Yeah, or yeah,
or
that
die
too.
quicker.
Yeah.
uh,
Well, Mason, if you, the hell was I going with that? You ready for
if
the question of
I,
the day? I don't know where the hell I was going with that. Um,
uh, if I was a question of the day, what question would I be?
what question would you be, Mason?
That question would be, what is your favorite bottle that you gave or received as a gift? Let's keep.
Received, received. It would probably be. I got a bottle from my brother for my birthday of Don Julio Reposado Primavera, which is like it's aged in orange wine barrels. Super super delicious Reposado tequila. Um, Favorite bottle that I've gifted. Um, I don't know. I feel like I'm like known as like the person who's always gifting bottles of wine or of spirits. Before I moved, we I gifted like a bottle of 1997 and a bottle of 1999 rum to a friend of mine. Because I
That's
just
pretty
they
cool.
were like half. I mean, they were like half bottle, like half consumed bottles that we just didn't want to move. Probably I don't know. As far as gifts go, too
I
many to
like it.
count.
Too many to count.
What about you,
I like
Mason?
it.
What's your favorite bottle that you gave or received as a gift?
All right. Favorite bottle that I received probably would be the first bottle of Weller Green Label, which is one of my favorites now, just to have always on hand. And it was just like my very expensive first bourbon. And it's not super expensive. I think it's like $70 a bottle, which isn't ridiculous, but still very expensive. And I just like, you know, savored that bottle for forever. I like took me months and months to drink the whole thing, and I just pushed it out as long as I possibly could. And then favorite bottle I've ever gifted that's a hard one because there's so many different ones. But I think I want to relate it to the experience. And I think when I right after graduation came over to your place and we were drinking the Camus
Mm-hmm.
90 2000, not 90 2000 something, 2012.
I think it was a 2012 or 2010, maybe.
Yeah, it was just, and it was a 1 liter bottle, and it was like getting ready, ramping up for our awesome dining experience and just being together as a new graduates,
Mm-hmm.
being excited for this wonderful world that we were entering.
And look at you, Mason, with the sappy ass fucking answer. You stole the thunder out of sappy
Uh,
answer of the day. But
what can I say?
no, that was cool. And like as much shit as I give Camus, like I feel like that was probably the best bottle of Camus that I've had, because it was, I think it was right after we got back from Alinea.
Was
We
it
like,
after?
I think it was after because I didn't drink before, and I really we had like that one cocktail in the kitchen at Alinea, and like that's all I drank all night because I was like, I just want to experience this for what it's worth, and I don't want to like have any alcohol to like alter my experience.
But now you're like, I wish
Now
I
I'm
would have
like,
drank.
fuck it, I don't give a shit. Like, give me the bottle of wine, give me the
Uh,
cocktails.
let's
Um,
go.
but yeah, that bottle of Chemis was good. And my grandparents were there too, and like I've talked about it before, but my grandpa's been a huge inspiration in my wine journey. So like to share that bottle with him too was really cool. So thanks for the gift, Mason.
Oh yeah, it was a gift to myself at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. I think a gift, especially when it comes to wine or spirits, a gift that then they're like,
You
well, let's
share
open it. Like then it's like, okay, that's a gift to me too because I get to experience it, right? Like
together, and that's what it's
whenever
about, right?
whenever I gift something, like I don't ever think that that's going to happen, but when it does, I'm like, okay, like awesome. Like I've been really wanting to try this wine, or I've been really wanting to try this spirit, and I've heard it's great. Maybe I've never had it before, but I saw it and I wanted to get it for you, and then like now you get to try it, so that's cool. Or maybe you have a really cool experience with a spirit, and now you get to like build on that memory and like, oh yeah, and I had it with my best friend or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Mason, you ready to
Well,
wrap up the Ballin' on a Holiday Budget
yeah.
pod? Yeah.
Should we
Special
do it?
shout out to our sponsor again, Shoes Pizzeria, Valparaiso, Indiana. Best pizza, chicken wings, sandwiches on the east of the Mississippi. Um, and Mason, until next time. I mean, next time, hold up. Next time, we're gonna be close to Christmas at the next time.
Oh shit! Damn. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
do a holiday special kind of
yeah.
action.
Maybe I have an idea for our next podcast.
Mm.
Should we do a little teaser here, or should we do that off air and let the people be surprised?
Let's let them be surprised.
Be surprised.
Let's let them wonder.
All right. Well, I'll tell you right after. Yeah,
All right.
yeah. But until next time, I'm Adam.
I'm Mason.
Keep
Keep
on
on
blending,
blending.
baby. Peace. We love you.
See ya.
Bye.